Sam, is any?
At this time, we will call this meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee DeBoer. Here. Trutchell.
Here.
Pfeiffer.
Here.
Hallquist.
Here.
President Fannerstill.
Here.
Trustees Walschlager and Connor are excused this evening.
Trustee Connors excused. Trustee Hallquist, would you lead us in the pledge?
I haven't memorized it yet.
Thank you, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we have public comment. For anybody that would like to speak in public comment, please step towards the podium. The floor will be yours. Just introduce yourself and provide your address. Do we have anybody on Zoom? No one on Zoom. Last call for anyone in the room that would like to speak in public comment. All right. I'm just catching this. I just want to ask, just because of our ordinance, the minutes.
There was a little bit of a problem one day with loading the.
Okay, we have time. We'll approve them next meeting. Okay.
Yep.
We have items related to vouchers as our first item tonight. We'll approve the minutes or bring the minutes up for approval at the next meeting. From the minutes from the last meeting. We have items related to vouchers. Consideration of a contractor's application for payment number 1 to Globe Contractors, Inc. in the amount of $190,108.95. Tom?
All right, Globe Contractors, Inc. has been working through our utility project this year. They've been doing a bang-up job for the most part. All the work that has been done in this payment has been inspected and approved by R&M and village staff. Staff recommends the payment of $190,108.95.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contractor application payment number 1 to Globe Contractors for $190,108.95.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve application for payment number 1 to Globe Contractors, Inc. in the amount of $190,108.95. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now, this item is in the vouchers, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now we have a consideration of vouchers for payment in the amount of $544,707.47.
Motion that we pay the vouchers in the amount of $544,707.47.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to pay the bills. Any discussion?
I have one quick question. I noticed there was a lot of prepayment for the HTC parade. If that were to rain out, or bad weather cancels it or whatever, do those payments get refunded, or how does that work? I was just curious.
Sandy?
Yeah, for parade, if we cancel ahead of time and they don't show up, there would be no payment. If they come here and, we cancel within an hour or whatever and they're on scene, we'd have to discuss that.
Other than contractual stuff that we've. for
Right, there's only
bands and
one
stuff.
contract for one of the
Yeah.
floats, the bands, the rest.
Okay, I was just curious. I didn't know if Jeff wanted to pay it out of his pocket or what.
It's not going to
Bring
rain.
your
Jim.
checkbook and start writing them.
It's not going to rain.
We go rain or shine unless there's lightning.
We've even gone
And
through
even
that.
then, there's some that'd be walking. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have a review and consideration of items that were related to licenses and permits. We have consideration of a special event application for St. Charles Fall Fest, September 11th through the 13th, 2026. If you'd like to introduce yourself, and if you, honestly, I almost want to say if you want to just tell us if there's any changes, because we do go through this each year. If anybody has any questions on what's going to happen, go ahead, but a brief overview would be great.
It's so simple, it's all the same. So my name is Brianna Thompson. I'm from COTTONWOOD, a parishioner at St. Charles, doing it as a full volunteer this year. I just resigned for being a stay-at-home mom now. I have a little 6-month-old. So we are back to the basics. We were really lucky that Tom allowed us to be at the Thursday nights beer gardens at this past summer. This year, we're not seeking that request just because I don't have time. So we're really excited this year to just keep going, nothing new. All of our parking is the same that we requested and the same licensing and temporary bar as well. So that's it.
Anything from staff? Any issues from you guys? Anything from the board? Any questions or? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the special event application for St. Charles Fall Fest, September 11th through 13th of '26.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the special event application for St. Charles Fall Fest, September 11th through 13th, 2026 at St. Charles. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Now, in conjunction with that, we have a consideration of a temporary Class B and Class B retailer license for St. Charles Fall Fest.
Make a motion that we approve the temporary Class B retailer's license for St. Charles Fall Fest.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve giving that temporary Class B retailer's license for St. Charles Fall Fest. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you
luck
so
this
much.
weekend.
Oh, thank you. Now we have a conceptual review of commercial multi-tenant building at 695 West North Shore Drive. Do you have anybody here for that? You want to just introduce yourself, give a brief overview?
Okay, I'm TJ Utchik from Utchik Inc., the construction manager, proposed construction manager for the project. Dr. Susan would have been here, but she had an emergency, so she can't make it. I'll do the best I can. As far as her business, she's here on Rose Drive. She's in a lease situation, and she's outgrown the business, so she has an accepted offer on that piece of property. She's working, she doesn't have any other tenants right now, just herself would be, the end cap would be the one on the far left.
And again, yeah, this is just conceptual.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a Georgian style, single story, there you go, something on that order there. And then her spot would be an open concept like she has in Wauwatosa. So she has two clinics, or not clinics, but dental, and it's, this one here is what she has in Wauwatosa, and that's what she's proposing to do here.
We talked to the building inspector, this fits within everything since it would be 3 or less practitioners at that business. I think one of the buildings next to it, she's hoping might be a pediatrician. And then next to that would be kind of a kids brunch and play area type facility, correct? Maybe?
Yes, I don't,
There's nothing solidified yet. Her tenancy would be the one for sure. But again, this is just a conceptual drawing and
I should have looked into this beforehand. Is this the building that's on?
no building,
It's just land.
just land.
so the other end cap, like Ryan said, is she's talking to an existing, it's like, I've never seen it, but it's not a daycare, you have to be there with your child. And she has games and reading, and I believe she contacted Hartland for a Class B license.
Yeah, let me just pull it
So
up
it'd
real
just be
quick.
beer and wine. Can't believe they do that, but I guess that's. I'm from the valley, so whatever goes on down here is a little more advanced than we are.
For the board, it's right here,
Okay, I like that.
this area right here.
Yeah.
She would also own this lot next to it, correct?
That's up for discussion.
Up for discussion,
Um,
okay.
we've had a wetland delineation done because I thought there was some wetlands on there and it passed. And in that process, we are now probably, if tonight's somewhat favorable, would start the civil design and engineering. I think that's gonna be a struggle for her to, this is off, well, you can put it down, but I think it's gonna be tough for her to sell that lot off because the turning radiuses, I mean, turn in, turn outs are in already. And that's a county road. I think that's gonna be a challenge. So she has not, we haven't really discussed it with the county yet. And to get another access, I don't know if they're gonna let us. So either, I'm not sure what we're gonna do with that. We have some options.
So just to clarify, going off of what you said, it's not, I'm saying this because there's a rendition of exterior of buildings, and then there's a rendition of the interior of buildings, but are we just talking about just whether or not she can have the land? You said it's no buildings.
No, I meant there's not current buildings.
No,
Like, it's
correct.
land. Yeah, so this is conceptual, just to make sure that this, at this point, we go to plan commission.
This plan does include wanting to have the buildings. on the
Yes.
property. I'm just clarifying, because I
Sorry.
got,
Yes, this is just the concept of what she wants.
I was
it
just
to look like.
clarifying.
So right now, it's about 11,500 square feet. She would have a partial basement, and then she'd have crawl space where the ops are. That's the way we do them.
And I'm sure they told you in meetings with the village, basically the way this happens, like this is conceptual, so it's
Yeah.
almost like the green light, just to keep
Absolutely,
moving
it's-
forward, and then it goes to plan commission, and then we kind of get into the nuts and bolts.
I'm actually glad you're doing this,
Mm.
because she's gonna have to start spending some money.
Yeah, the Waukesha Freeman actually posted, I believe, her pictures too, so.
Pardon?
One of the local papers posted the
Oh,
picture of it,
wow.
so.
Anybody from the board have comments, questions for the presenter?
I had told them, and the only thing, go ahead, the
Did
TIF,
mention, I just broke ground on one in combined locks today, and they were gracious enough. We're doing what, tax abatement there? It wasn't really, you know, the cost of, in my narrative, the cost of the land, she paid a hefty sum for it, the cost of construction and interest rates. If it'd be any chance we could get some assistance some way, somehow, it sure would be a good incentive for her moving forward here. So like I said, she has an offer to purchase and it's extended. It's probably, she has 5 months, so we're gonna be in the process of bidding it out and everything, and hopefully it comes in. But If you guys could help, that's all we're asking. If not,
Well, what we'll do is conceptual tonight, and then we'll just keep taking it step by step.
okay.
You know, then that's how we always do conceptual. It's just like, this is just a green light, and like I said,
Yep.
then we get into the nuts and
Yep.
bolts and conversations with staff and things like that to lead up to that point.
So tonight, basically, you're gonna say whether thumbs up or thumbs down.
Tonight, it either dies, or we send it to plan commission, whereas we're all the, I keep saying the nuts and bolts, but it's all the nitty gritty of it, all the internal workings and all that stuff, where the engineer gets
Photometrics,
involved
the
and
whole
all
nine,
that,
signage,
yep.
yep.
But we start it here because this board is actually the one that has the authority that at the end of that whole process, if it comes back to us after all that work and this board says no, it doesn't go anywhere, and we don't want to waste your time, so we have it come to this board first to say, yeah, it looks good conceptually,
Understood.
or not.
I don't want to see it die, not at this stage anyway. I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the commercial multi-tenant building for moving forward to planning commission at 695 West North Shore Drive.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the conceptual review of the commercial multi-tenant building at 695 West North Shore Drive, which in essence sends this on to the Plan Commission for their conceptual. Any discussion? I think it looks nice.
Just looking to build.
Looks nice
thank
for
you.
using the space. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you. Now we have review and consideration of water utility.
No,
I'm sorry, consideration of resolution filling vacancy and appointment of the municipal court judge. Chief?
So as you're all aware, we are without a municipal court judge, so we have one on an interim basis from our district court administrator. We're trying to fill that temporarily. There will be an election, a special election held next spring, but obviously we have to get to that point. There was several candidates interested that interviewed with our operations committee. One candidate was moved forward to our administrative committee that met last week, and they approved Ronald Sonderhaus, attorney Ronald Sonderhaus, to fill that position for that 1 year up until that, or about a year until that special election can take place. And each municipality does have to agree to this. So it's all, I believe, we're at 22 municipalities, so if one were not to, I don't know
What'll
what
happen?
exactly we'll do, but we'll figure that out if we have to cross that bridge.
Just wondering, I mean, Chief, do you get nominated to be the president of that board also all
No,
the time?
I am not. I am the vice chair of the administrative committee, and I am not the chair of the ops committee, but I am on both committees.
So what you're looking for here, though, is just an approval to fill that vacancy in the hopes that every municipality will do so, and we'll get more news if all of a sudden one of them doesn't.
Correct. Yep. This will just be approval for this resolution so that Attorney Sonderhaus can take the position of municipal judge for the Lake Country Municipal
And you
Court.
feel comfortable with them?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the resolution filing vacancy and appointment municipal court judge.
It's been moved and seconded to fill the vacancy with Judge Sonderhaus, to fill the vacancy for municipal court judge. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have a review and consideration of the water utility simplified rate increase.
All right, so this is I go to the Public Service Commission website annually. All these numbers pull in from our annual report. You look at line 7, it comes up with a factor of 5.4% for our net revenue. Anything under 6.4, we're eligible, or under 6, we are eligible under 6.4. So we are eligible for a 3% simplified rate increase for next year if the board so chooses. What's the downside if you don't? It's been 10 years since we had a full rate case, so we'll probably do a full rate case again pretty soon. You guys have always kept up with the simplified rate increases, so just if you don't do them, you run a risk that we have a higher rate when we do a full rate case. So truly, the decision's yours. The looks like about $3.50 per quarter would be the increase on the average utility bill.
this would,
50 per quarter?
$3.50.
this would be a 3% on an annual basis. It would
Yeah,
continue
3%.
every-
We just
every-
adjust the rate. Nope, it would be
No,
a
just-
3% next year and then I'll review it again next summer. So we did a 3% last year. 2 years ago when the market was very high, it was like a 5 or 6%. So again, it's up to you guys. It's just, it's a small increase that helps for a future rate case.
Can you just touch on that can you scroll back down a little bit? There you go. Where it says last full rate case, you were
Yep.
describing, basically the way I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, and if you want to explain it to the board. But basically, this is kind of like a property assessment. It's where they actually will really look at things across the board and kind of see where we line up.
Well, yeah, so for a full rate case, it's about a 50 or 60-page report. We give them all our financial numbers, all of our anticipated numbers for the next 5 years, where they come up with an estimated rate and an estimated percentage of, because the utility is a for-profit entity, because everything's getting more expensive. So it kind of comes up with a formula of what our rate should be. If you remember last time, it was a 30% rate increase. Originally, it was 45. We decreased it.
Is that based on the 2016
Yeah.
rate case? Oh, it was, okay.
Yep. And a lot of municipalities, I don't know if you see in the paper all over, some municipalities are 70, 80, 90, 100% rate increase. We obviously have our own challenges with PFAS coming up, so I don't know what it'll do to us at that point, but this is,
Pays a lot for water.
everybody pays a lot for water. Again, so if you approve this, what I would do is submit it to the Public Service Commission for the 3% rate increase. If you don't, that's not a big deal either, just you run the risk of a higher rate increase when we do a full rate case.
I think we should stick with what we've been doing. I'm going to make a motion that we approve the water utility simplified rate increase of 3%.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 3% rate increase on water utility. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have a consideration of contract with Unifirst to provide mats for the Village Hall and Police Department. Who's gonna, chief or?
So our contract expires this October, so I obtained a few proposals, and the most favorable was from Unifirst for a monthly cost of $93.83. Currently, we're paying $271 a month, so that'd be a savings of $173 a month.
That's huge.
Trustee Walschlager originally requested we buy our own. It's just not feasible with how often they're used and in
Yeah, no.
winters.
How'd you get that down so low?
Elsco is who we use now.
Wow. So that'll be that's just the plain mats, right?
Yep, like you see in
Yeah,
the room here,
yep,
yeah.
yep.
A few of them are like the all rubber ones outside the door.
Sometimes people have logos and stuff. I didn't know if we were doing any of
no.
those. But that is amazing that you got it done. What did you get it down to?
$93.83.
And what were we paying?
$271.
Wow, that's one.
So they're
That's
swapped
1/3.
out every month,
That's
every 4
awesome.
weeks.
Great job.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract with Unifirst to provide mats for the Village Hall and Police Department.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the mats for a much cheaper price than we were paying through Unifirst. I do have to ask, since they're saying for police, Chief, are you okay with us using that vendor for our mats? Okay. I think it's only appropriate to ask.
So they do come in, I believe it's gonna be once a month with this new contract, and then we just escort them, so
I was gonna ask about,
it
because they
doesn't
can't
take
just get in
long, they
there.
just grab the old ones, and then they unroll the new
They
ones.
come in and roll
then
them,
we
they unroll
watch
them, and they're
leave.
out.
So they're fully escorted, doesn't matter who shows up, they'll be with an escort the whole time.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have a consideration of a first reading of a bill for an ordinance, number 06222026, an ordinance creating section 86-77 of the Village of Hartland Code of Ordinances regulating lead water service line replacement.
All right, so this ordinance has been coming along for a long time, ever since Flint, Michigan. I know you guys have probably been following along with all the work that DPW has been doing in relation to lead services. First, we had the lead service copper rule revision that basically mandated the village doing a survey of every single service that's in the entire village, and putting that on a document, basically spreading out what we have underground throughout the village. In that, we have found that there is 11 lead services in the village. We are in a weird predicament, good weird predicament compared to a lot of other municipalities. A lot of other municipalities have lead or a different material on their side of the curb stop. Remember again, from the main to the curb stop, that's our side or the village's side. And then from the curb stop into the actual resident, that is private. So the only lead services that we have are from the curb stop to the inside of the house. It is private. With the new lead and copper rule improvement put out by the EPA, a private homeowner is required to replace that service line. So even though it is not the village's, it's not a public plumbing portion or a public entity, there's a requirement to replace that. And of course, that's going to be put onto the village to make sure that the village is making sure that that service line is replaced. So in doing that, this document, this ordinance is basically following federal regulation and state statute to get the village in line with replacement of these lead services. So it kind of it's a hard predicament to go onto private property and replace these services because they're not owned by the village, but that is what we have to do. We haven't figured out how we're going to do that yet, but this is basically the beginning steps of getting that work done.
Yeah, the ordinance will give us the teeth to tell those 11 homeowners that their services need to be replaced. Nobody's going to want to hear that. You go down to Milwaukee, they have several thousand services that need to be replaced. We have 11. So this will kind of give Tom that opportunity to tell them. This is just the first reading, but we've talked internally about reaching out to a contractor, maybe getting an estimate for those 11, and then seeing if homeowners will sign on to that to have the work done. They could do it on their own and inspected, probably be higher. We would have one company doing all 11. Some municipalities are helping funding, some municipalities are special assessing. We just need to pass this resolution to give us teeth, and then we'll talk about what you would like to do with those 11 parcels. Tom's figuring about $15,000 each, so you're looking at maybe $175,000 total cost. But each homeowner, those 11, would have that responsibility unless we do something otherwise.
Is there a certain location that there's these homes?
Yeah, so the lead service copper rule, there's actually a map that's posted on the village website that shows all 11 locations. That was a EPA requirement that we post a map. It's in our consumer confidence report, so you can log on to that, or I can get you a copy of that map and actually see where those locations are. But mainly they're in the older parts of town where lead was used. I mean, that was a normal material to use.
Like former downtown and Capitol, or like
St. Charles area, where, yeah.
Yep, kind of Renson, Hill, Warren, kind of this downtown area is
Okay.
where they are sporadically spread out. There's one over off of Merton, it's definitely not in any of the newer sections of the village, but, and that makes total sense. I mean, that's just the patina, that's the age class of what was used for plumbing at that time frame, so.
We're very lucky it's only 11.
Correct, yes, extremely lucky, and that kind of, puts us out of any grants or anything like that as far as getting funding. A lot of the grants and stuff for this service line replacement is basically based off of median household income. Well, we don't really fall under that category, and the small amount that we have to do when you're talking about Milwaukee and Shorewood and other areas of the state, we're not going to see that funding when it comes down to it.
So long story short, this is reading one. We'll bring it back next meeting, and then once we do get this passed and on the books, we'll approach you guys with a plan of how you'd like to have Tom and myself approach the homeowners and talk about what they need to do and what the options are. So,
for special assessment too, I'm gonna ask it right now, but yeah, I know we'll end up talking about this more, but is there anything that prohibits us from stretching that, where it's attached to the property if we stretch it for 10 years? Because if you do it 3 years, that's $500 or $5,000 a year.
I'm sure we can look into ways, we can look into all options with that.
I just don't necessarily know if it's fair for every constituent to pay for someone else's upgrade.
Is homeowners aware?
Yep, so with that survey we did, the homeowners had to be aware of what we found, and we disclosed that information. We've had to do that twice because it was 2 years ago that we found that out. So every single time it comes around, we have to send out that same mailing again, letting them know that they do have lead service. So yes, they are aware.
Thank you.
All right. Unless anybody has anything to add, we'll consider that our first reading. All right. Now we have consideration of a first reading of a bill for an ordinance number 0622-2026-A, an ordinance related to the regulation of electric bicycles and electric scooters. One thing I'll ask, because I think it's going to end up being in the ordinance, I don't think it hurts to, because we say electric bicycles, but to say electric, I don't even know how to say it, dirt bikes or whatever it is, but pedal-less electric bikes, because those don't even fall into the categories. But we can talk about this stuff. Do you have anything for us, Chief, on this one?
Same points that we kind of walked through last time. It's the same exact ordinance, just now it's in a reading status. So if there were areas that we had talked about that you want to make changes to, we can definitely do that. I know one of those was if we want to restrict them to certain roadways, as far as like electric scooters. Some communities restricted them to roadways with certain mile-per-hour limits. Right now, the template ordinance that we put forward does that at 25 miles per hour, but that's not that, it's a recommendation that we have to do that. It was just a placeholder. Really, it goes through the different classifications. So we have the class 1, 2, and 3 electric bicycles. And again, those are defined not only by this ordinance, but they're defined by state statute, which we took that right from state statute and put it into the ordinance. That does include throttle-propelled electric bicycles. With that said, this ordinance doesn't cover electric motorcycles or mopeds. That is governed by state statute, just like a moped of gasoline power or a motorcycle of gasoline power is governed by, and that's obviously licensed vehicles by both operator, registered vehicles, just like you would a normal vehicle on a roadway. Those things would all apply, whether those motorcycles or mopeds are electric or gasoline powered, doesn't matter, same thing under DOT regulations.
The reason, just throwing this in, Chief, the reason that I did want to throw, and I see it coming up in a lot more communities now, it's almost like once the door opened, now people that know that they can say something, it's like they didn't know they could say something, it's just like their bikes, but no one really knew what to do. But there was you can't take this as like legal proof, but I'm just saying one of the things I saw on one of the social media websites is someone was driving. This was actually in Pewaukee. No, nothing on their police there. It's just someone saw something, but they were looking at their speedometer and they ended up did take their phone out, and it was on one of the electric, what you would consider a motorbike, not a pedal bike, electric bicycle. You can keep pedaling it even when the battery's dead. These just have pegs. They don't have any. But the kid blew across the street, but blew through 2 crosswalks. And while he was holding it, the kid was going between 38 and 41 miles an hour, like sidewalk, across the street, across 2 crosswalks, and then on a sidewalk. And one thing that I do think is a good idea, we're doing something about this, is anybody backing out of a driveway, anybody walking around on a sidewalk, anybody doing anything on a sidewalk, no one's anticipating speeds of that nature. Now, most of the bikes don't go that fast that are pedal bikes that also have the electric. Those are bicycles, but they're basically getting to the point where they have electric motorbikes, and it's something that we'll have to keep an eye on because state law doesn't qualify those as bicycles. Those are actually supposed to be off on a trail. They're not even roadworthy. So they're not supposed to be on the roads either, so it's tough.
The class 1 and 3 electric bicycles, those are pedal assist up to certain mile-per-hour limitations. The class 2 could be just throttle assisted. You don't have to have pedals for those. And again, that's supposed to be up to 20 miles per hour. I have heard of ways to defeat governors and get different chips and make things go faster, and I'm sure that happens. And I have heard that you can buy this equipment direct and have it go over those limits. So that is something we would have to watch for, obviously, if they're in excess of certain speeds, which makes it all that more difficult to figure out what's what.
I think this is, and I'll let everybody else chime in, but I just think it's a good thing that we are getting something on the books. Because I think this will be an evolving item for a decade to come. I really do, especially as batteries get stronger, things go faster, batteries last longer. But, when you have pedal bikes, if you pedal as fast as you can and you can get your bike up to 30 miles an hour, the body only has so much juice in it. So that'll restrict you. And just the fact that you're pedaling a bike by human power, it restricts you. When you start getting into this electric and people are getting up, crossing 30 miles an hour, it's a real quick clip. But the big thing is, as we do come up with things, if something necessitates a change or adding to it, we have an ordinance that we can add to it, as opposed to having to recreate it each time. So I'll let you guys go if there's anything you guys have, or changes you want to what's already written.
I know I'm gonna get some heat on this one, but I really think that for the underage, I think we need to put something in there about helmets. And I know that Adam doesn't believe in that. He thinks that's a parental thing, but so is only going 20 miles an hour. The parent tells them to only go 20 and they're going 30, so that's a parental thing too. So I would like to see helmets in there for one. Second, I'll share you a story. I was picking weeds with the Kiwanis about a week ago over here by the library. And 2 kids came up with the e-bikes, and they, right by that picnic table by the path, they stopped. And I noticed there was a gentleman walking about 100 yards behind him. So I just asked the kids, I said, hey, how fast can you go on those things? They go, 32. And then the dad, that was the dad of one of the kids, he goes, yeah, but they're told to only go 20. And I said, okay. I said, maybe let's just stay under 20. That's what I said. But they know. I mean, these kids are probably 10 or 11, so they know how fast they can go. And if the dad wasn't there, I'm sure they're probably going 32. So anyway, and that's why I'm thinking, okay, they don't know any better. Maybe they should have helmets, so in case they do have an accident, then at least we don't have a brain dead kid or something. But anyway, that's just my call.
And I hear what you're saying, Tim, and I mean, I'm all about safety. How do you police it, first of all? But do you have to wear a helmet when you're at a motorcycle or any other bike? Or
It won't be policed until there's an accident, and then we can say, was he wearing a helmet? No, okay, there you go. I mean, and that's up to the police to understand that, and same with speed too. No one's gonna care until there's an accident. That's all I'm saying, and we're trying to prevent that.
Chief, do you have any input on that? I mean, from
The only
your
other
opinion?
thing and the difference between class 3 and the other bicycles is there is an age limit for the class 3 that you have to be 16 years of age to operate the class 3. That's under state statute. And then to Trustee Elquist's point, there is nothing right now in this ordinance that is in front of you that prohibits use of sidewalks or anything regarding helmets. So those were things I know that were discussed, that just looking for direction from the board to say which way we want to go.
Can you force kids to wear a helmet? I ask, because could we say, hey, if you're riding a skateboard, you have to have a helmet. If you're riding roller skates, you have to have a helmet. I'm just strictly asking. How are we?
You can. It can get challenged like any other law out there.
I mean, could we tell pickleballers they got to wear helmets?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but yeah.
I didn't know that you could enforce something.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I strictly had no idea you could tell somebody, like I thought with the helmet laws of Wisconsin, and I get they're minors. I didn't know that you could say, yes, if you're riding this, you must.
I'm just
Because my question is if they're coming from Delafield without a helmet, and then they got to strap it on to get, I'm just curious how that works.
Yeah, and that could happen too, even with sidewalk use.
do have
Different
municipal
communities,
leaders
different
calling out,
laws apply.
All make the same.
Some communities, even for a regular pedal bicycle, do not allow those on the sidewalks. In Hartland, we do. So you could be in Hartland on the sidewalk going to Delafield, and I'm not saying Delafield's, it's prohibited. I don't know their law.
Yeah.
But let's say it was, then you'd have to not operate on that sidewalk, even on a pedal bike. So that can exist as we sit today, but
And
makes
we
it
do- I
all
just
that
wanna-
much more challenging to follow. And
We do have the
enforce.
surrounding municipal leaders reaching out to us because of the, you know what I mean, crossing from Hartland to Merton, Hartland to the, town of Merton, Hartland to the town of Delafield, Hartland from the city of Delafield. Some of the municipal leaders, and we're gonna try to get them all together, reaching out to say, hey, we want to know what you guys are putting on the books so we can try to, so it isn't like that where you hit the border and all of a sudden you're like, okay, all the rules just changed. No sidewalk now or whatever, you know. I know Ron Renicky from Village of Merton reached out originally to Chief and Trustee Hallquist to say, hey, we want to be involved just to see what you guys have and let you know what we're thinking. So we're hoping to get some of the other municipal leaders on that too, so that we won't run to as much of that border change. And
Correct.
maybe we can kind of make it pretty fluid. Just wanted to throw
No,
that in there so
that's
everybody knows.
awesome, and that makes a lot of sense. Chief, in all of the research and time you've spent developing what we have now and the stuff you've looked into in other municipalities, what have others done regarding helmets? I mean, is that something that you've seen on the books anywhere else, and how do they do it?
So I will say, as we sit today, this is the hot topic, and you're seeing and reading about a lot of communities putting something in place now. There were not a lot of restrictions in place for just general use other than the state law. It just followed the state law, basically. We only had a handful prior to coming forward with what we have here today, and the one that we based kind of this template off, which was recently passed in the Village of Greendale, did have a restriction for electric scooters only, not the bicycles, but for electric scooters, anyone under, I believe it was 16, was to wear a helmet. So that was in their ordinance. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, or
No,
that
that's
can't
what I
be
needed to know,
challenged, but
So-
that is currently in
We,
their ordinance.
we don't allow, I mean, we let the motorcyclists wear helmets or not, whatever they wanna do. So, you know, the older you get, then that's your choice, but I'm just trying to protect the younger kids. And
I get it. I just worry if like parents are gonna be like, who are you to tell my kid what they, you know what I mean? I'm not suggesting that. I'm just trying to think too.
Advocate.
This is just me guessing. I mean, I think it's good we're talking about this because we're creating a new ordinance. So I honestly, like these talks, and we have one more reading to go, whether we pass it on the 2nd or not. You know, we'll decide that when we get to it, but everyone will have a couple of weeks to think about it. But, you know, just in talking, and Chief, if I'm wrong, correct me. I see if the helmet thing goes in, I see that more as I'm just visualizing. It doesn't mean that this hypothetical. When officers and leadership are policing the area, most likely they're probably not gonna be just pulling someone over on the side of the street if they think, hey, I bet you that kid's or let's say it's a pair. I mean, it's like, that kid looks like they're 13. They're riding one of these e-bikes. They don't have a helmet on. I almost feel like, because it will happen. I mean, it happens on bicycles. It's gonna happen on e-bikes. There may be an accident where that kid has no helmet and all of a sudden there's an enhancer where Hartland PD is going over to the parents and saying, hey, there's a law on the books. You were supposed to have this kid in a helmet. Am I someone on the right track there, or do you think that you would turn it into, you would be stopping on the side of the road?
So I would say how we currently handle, I just use bicycles because it's out there and it's a close comparison. Obviously, we're just saying one's electric, one's pedal powered. I would definitely not say that we do a lot of bicycle stops. Do we do some? Yes. And usually what it is for bicycles is riding at night without a light, just because that can become dangerous, hard to see the bicycle. So I know there's been some stops in that regard, and usually those don't result in a citation. They usually result in a consultation and hopeful compliance, so the danger no longer exists for that bicycle rider and any of those operating or walking in the area around that person at night. So can we do that? Will we get complaints? I would say yes. If we pass an ordinance, it will be publicized. It's a hot topic item, and I know we will have people looking to call those matters in, and we would follow up on any complaints that we get and stop those people and have a conversation. We still have discretion whether it's in ordinance. If it's in the ordinance, it doesn't mean we just have to write a 12-year-old child a citation, which is the lowest we could go anyway. If they were 8, I don't even have that capability to do something like that because there are age restrictions on how we can follow things up. You could make it parental responsibility maybe. Again, that I'd have to run through our attorney. I'm just talking off the top of my head on how that would work.
I know there used to be a bike license thing, but that was mostly, at least when I was a kid, which we're going way back. But, I mean, it was more so it helped them find the bike because they had the serial number if it was stolen. I mean, we don't have to go on and on and on. I have a lot going through my head, but I'm like, is it gonna hit a point where possibly we end up saying that these things have to be, it seems like an easier way to police it. Is the day gonna come where you have to register it? Like if you have an, because I mean, they go faster than a bicycle. We do know that, no doubt about it. I just wonder if the day is gonna come. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking of a lot of things. This is why I'm glad we're making the ordinance.
Yeah, communities, including ours, have required bicycles to be licensed. I could tell you in the almost 8 years I've been in Hartland, we've never registered a bicycle, and probably goes even years, if not decades, before that. But that can absolutely be an option.
It just gets so complicated because you've
It
got
does.
so many variations of.
Well, it's, like, that's why I say,
e-bikes and
this is in its
scooters, and
infancy
it's like,
because you have
where
things that
does
are
it
gonna be going
stop?
50
We
miles
can't
an hour.
register every one of those.
I've got a.
What gets difficult with that is when you have like a state law that says you must be licensed to operate a motor vehicle, everyone knows you have to do that. When every community can do something different, no one knows what's what. And even when they do know, they'll plead ignorance.
Can you put language in it, and this is, I guess, a question for everybody. Can you put language in an ordinance that isn't law language? Can you say, you know, it's our recommendation that children under the age of 16 wear helmets while riding motor scooters or whatever? So we're recommending it, it's public, that we think that they're dangerous and you should wear a helmet, but we're not gonna go around and police it.
My quick answer to that would be you can. Just know that that would probably not, and more than, like I would say, is not enforceable then.
Sure.
And we kind of just talked about it, but does it, you know, the worry about the, hey, this kid that wasn't wearing a helmet, he got in an accident, at least you get the warm and fuzzies, like anything else to say, it's a recommendation, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I walked today and not one kid had a helmet.
I'm just trying to protect the village,
I get,
right?
And that's what I'm wondering, is if that language, it's in our ordinance, we're recommending that you wear a helmet, does that protect the village? Because we're not on the hook to police this thing and try to manage what parents are doing with their kids or not doing with their kids. I'm with you on that. I want to make sure that.
I mean, I'm not trying to have him make more stops.
No, right.
You know, because he sees a guy going without a helmet, but I'm just saying if he smacks into a 78-year-old lady and he goes flying and he hits his head or whatever, you know, then at least we're protected and said, oh, geez, you weren't doing this, you weren't doing that. So, that's all.
Well, it's the first reading, so maybe it'd be a good idea if everybody really, you know, takes some time and think on it, read some stuff from other communities, read up on them, or whatever people want to do. We can't force it, but, you know, so that maybe next time we come together, and that does include, I'm going to throw this out just like we always do with ordinances, there is nothing wrong with emailing or bringing it to the meeting. There's nothing wrong with emailing changes so that Ryan or Sandy can send it to the board and say, hey, you know, President Vanderstill or Trustee Pfeiffer or Trustee Hallquist is suggesting that this be added or this be changed, or even if it's one word. I just want everybody to know you are making a law or an ordinance, but I mean, it's a law. And I mean, that's what this time frame is for. So, you know, please keep that in mind, or send it to Chief, you know, and he'll bring it up. And I didn't mean to put you on the hot seat, Chief. I just wanted to ask you, you know, what your opinion was. I know it's up to the board, but I wanted your law enforcement and for all of your people, your opinion on, I don't want to see you guys totally bogged down, but at the same time, I do think this is something you're right, it's a hot topic right now, but I have a feeling once in a while, it's going to be something that's going to keep coming up though, with the speeds.
Mm-hmm.
If you could just introduce yourself and
Sure.
state your address, unless the board will not allow if he wants to speak on this. I mean, he's the only person here at our meeting. If you could just state your name and your
Sure.
address.
Cliff Walcott, 719 Hawthorne Lane, right here in Hartland. I didn't realize, is this posted so that members of the community can read this, or will this be
The
posted?
agenda?
The draft.
It's in the packet. So if you go
Okay.
on to, I don't know if you can show them right now. If you go on to villageofheartland.com
Yep, yep,
and then you click on government,
yep.
and it seems hard, but like we do it every week. So
No,
you click on Village of Heartland, then you go to government.
And these are attachments in
Yep, if you
tonight's
look at
agenda?
the board behind me, there's a
Okay.
section there right where the hand is. See, it'll go over to government,
Okay.
village board, but you go to government and then you click on agenda and packets
Okay,
or agendas, and you'll see now he's gonna click on 2026.
yep,
So he'll click on that, and now you'll just scroll to the bottom. The most recent is at the bottom, and on the right-hand side there, the minutes are on the far right-hand side. That's why that's blank, because we haven't approved tonight's minutes yet. Then the agenda is there, and when he scrolls down in the pages, so this whole pack, this is live online right now. He's gonna end up clicking on it, and there's the entire ordinance.
Okay.
And the whole packet, every time we have a meeting, if Plan Commission has a meeting, Police and Fire Commission, any of our library board, all of those boards, you can go on, and when those agendas, and if they have their packet, always the village board has their packet, and Plan Commission does, but you can go and you can actually look at the packet, so there's the agenda item, and then the supporting documents.
okay.
So
I'll go
yes.
ahead and do that now. I made the mistake, did not realize the draft was out there with the meeting agenda, so I'll need to do that. What is the board's preference or anyone's preference for feedback from the community? Do you want emails sent to the board?
Preferably emails, because then it's in writing.
Okay.
But if you prefer to call, you can call Chief, you can call Trustee Hallquist, myself, any of the board members, you can call the
Okay.
village. You can call any of us. In most cases, someone's probably gonna ask you to put it into email. It's much easier for them to include an email in the packet or send that email to the board
Okay.
than try to, the game of telephone.
Yep,
You
yep.
don't want,
Okay.
things changing.
I
but-
appreciate that.
So, I mean, both is actually helpful. Calling and having a conversation and then following it up with an email is great.
Or he can also come public comments.
Or you can come public comments, but if you have more than 3 minutes to say,
And that's what I'm thinking,
And-
is depend upon what I see.
Yeah.
I may have input that goes beyond that.
many people do
And-
both. They'll send when I say long, I'm just saying it
Yep.
takes longer than 3 minutes. They'll send their email because they want to articulate themselves, and then they'll come speak on it in public comments. And if it's something like this, kind of like usually we don't let people speak in the middle of the meeting,
Yep,
unless it's, I mean, when we can, this board tries to allow people to speak. So
Yeah,
like
I
if you were
didn't
like,
know
oh, I need
whether-
1 more minute, most likely, we're not going to be like,
I appreciate that. And I
Unless
didn't
you're
know
standing there
whether to
calling us all
speak
jerks.
beforehand, because I didn't know if it was gonna actually be reviewed, the details
Sure.
tonight or not, so.
yeah. So, and just so you know, this is an ordinance, if you hear us say the first reading,
Yep,
so our ordinances, because we have ordinance on how things become an ordinance, or we have a municipal code.
yep,
The code says we should have 3 readings.
Okay.
So 1 reading in the old days, before computers, we would actually read that entire ordinance, but everybody could go on and read it. So we're talking about it. Next meeting, we'll have the 2nd reading.
perfect,
Sometimes it does happen where we will suspend our rules and just adopt it
okay,
at the 2nd reading, but we have to vote to suspend our rules. But otherwise, our ordinance says it has to go for 3 readings for this reason exactly, so that people have time to look at things, including board members and the public, and give their input on it, think about it. So just, I mean, just that little bit of, just figured I'd
Okay,
share that
that's
info with you.
I appreciate it, I appreciate the opportunity to talk out of turn. Are there specific triggers or problems that the ordinance is really targeted at addressing? I know we've had a lot of complaints in the community. I have mine. My wife and I are senior citizens, and we use e-bikes because we couldn't get the exercise we need if we didn't have them. But I've witnessed the growth in misuse of the technology.
This board, and I commend all of them, this board really strives to, if I were to put it in a nutshell, even though we didn't all get together and come up with a mission statement, but it's so that everybody can thrive peacefully and happily in a wonderful village and everyone can enjoy it safely.
Yep.
And I think that's part of the reason why we're coming up with this ordinance.
Okay.
So there are a couple key points. Safety is one of them.
Yep.
When you hit certain speeds, it can make things more dangerous. Number one, as you've heard, there's been talk about helmets. But also the silence of these machines. They're very quiet. One of the things I've been focusing on is someone backing out of a driveway.
Yep.
If you're just backing out, I can tell you, all of us that have been driving for a while, you're just not anticipating, oh, I gotta really look down the block because something might be coming at 25 miles an hour on a sidewalk.
Yep.
You'll look in the street, but you won't look on the sidewalk, and that's a clip. I mean,
Yep.
that's street speed. So If anybody wants to add anything, they can, but those are the big ones I've seen. I mean, Tim, if you want to add anything, Tim had kind of brought this up to our attention to get it rolling. But I think that that's a lot of the things where really, he's gotten
Yeah.
passed really quickly a couple times because he goes out and walks in the morning.
Yep.
And he's like, he doesn't want to see someone, not just elderly, but with a real focus because they don't move out of the way as quick and they get hurt more if they fall. But he doesn't want to see someone just get someone flying by them.
And it's a challenge, right? Because in our experience, you know, you're supposed to announce that you're passing on the left, right? That's the etiquette. I can tell you that better than 80% of the time when either my wife or I announce passing on your left, they step to their left. And then they turn around and look at you and you're going right at them. Other times, they're wearing headphones, they've got, right, they don't even hear you.
Yeah.
So, those are some of the things I'm just, and I haven't read it, so I don't, right? But I'm just a little anxious.
Sir, if you would like this when you're done, you can have, that's the ordinance, but if you want it when you're done.
Little anxious, and that'll be the things and sort of feedback I'll provide is from what I've experienced, because we've had these for 5 years now. We bought them when they first became the rage. We go on the bug line a lot. I realize that's not Hartland, but I can tell you that we see more bicyclists on the bug line, traditional bikes, whipping through there a lot faster than an e-bike goes. And they're usually in batches of bike cyclists, right? The guys with the tights.
Ones with the leotards. Yeah.
Right, the leotards.
Yeah.
And they're flying like a bat out of hell and they're not riding single file and they're occupying the whole path. And so I'm just looking for some
We're not,
balance.
and we aren't looking for, but that's exactly what, we're looking for people that are using bikes, bicycles, walking, or jogging to do so safely without causing a lot of problems to people around them. That's what we're not looking to eliminate them.
And that's, I think, the overriding thing is, let's not look at this as a technology ordinance, an ordinance about a certain technology. Bikes are bikes, and they're powered in different ways. So if we have speed limit limitations, I wouldn't assume that the speed limits are not possible with a traditional bike as well. Same thing with helmets and things like that, right? Little kid can get hurt as severely not wearing a helmet on a traditional bike as they can on an e-bike. And I'm saying none of this to imply that we don't have some serious issues, because the ones that I see are primarily the young kids whose parents have bought these things for them, given them to them, provided no guidance, no training, and they're just going at it. And I see them ripping down sidewalks in downtown districts, and somebody's gonna walk out of one of these places and get hurt badly.
Yep,
Right?
and I suggest email us.
Okay.
And if you'd like, come to the next meeting as well, but if you want to email anyone you feel comfortable, or you can email Ryan or Sandy or Chief, and they'll send it to the entire board, so I appreciate you speaking on it.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks
You're
for
welcome.
sharing
Thank
your
you.
thoughts with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. What was that? We're still in the middle of the reading, so if anybody has any comments.
The only other thing that was on there, as we discussed last time, is you'll see that section at the end of page 3, starting on line 99. It's just a general prohibited areas. I don't know if anyone on the board has a specific area of concern, but we worded it this way so we wouldn't have to come back and add it to an ordinance. We could just merely add signs if we identify an issue area.
I agree with what you just said, Chief, and I don't know how the rest of you feel. I would hate to restrict, because I hate to see someone get punished that is willing to operate something properly and safely. If you have a bike that can go 190, but you're gonna only go 10 miles an hour properly, I mean, I'm kidding, I'm exaggerating, obviously. But if you're gonna go properly and safely, through an area or on a trail, I don't wanna see you getting in trouble if you're doing it maturely and the way it's supposed to be. And I don't think we're trying to create a law for that, so I do agree. I would just hate to see us restrict where someone that does do things properly, all of a sudden we restrict them on an entire path, unless we have to. I guess time will tell with that.
And I like the prohibited areas section that we can, by resolution, adopt changes and things once we learn more and get more into this. Yeah, I think that's good.
Anybody else while we're in first reading? No? Sandy? All right, well, we'll consider that first reading complete as long as it's sufficient for everybody. I'm guessing there's gonna be quite a few, so I am gonna start with our rec director, Sam. Announcements.
Torn to take it first.
Do you need the whole list?
It's hometown week, everybody. The time has finally arrived. I just want to do another shout out for Culver's for being our presenting sponsor again this year.
Absolutely.
So we're excited to have them come join us in the VIP areas this weekend. Couple reminders. So the carnival, I officially got the ticket prices for the carnival rides. So they're gonna do, it's $1.25 per ticket. Otherwise, it's $25 for 22 tickets or $50 for 46 tickets. They're also doing some wristband days. So the wristbands are going to be $25. They're going to run that on Thursday from 4 to 8. Friday is also 4 to 8. Saturday, there's 2 different time slots for the wristband deal. You can either do 12 to 4 or 5 to 9. And then Sunday won't have any wristbands, but they will be operating from 12 to 5 on Sunday. We have some great bands lined up. We have Stetson and Lace on Thursday. We have Miles Wangren Band on Friday and Bella Kane on Saturday. Reminder with the fireworks that they're starting at 10 o'clock, not 9:30 this year. Another reminder with the parade, it's starting at 11:30 with the updated route. Yeah, we're excited. The tent went up today. I don't know if you guys saw it in Nixon Park. We have all our other deliveries coming this week. And yeah, we're ready to rock.
Sam, do you mind touching on Sunday?
Sure. What's happening
I
at the
know the
park?
carnival's there, but I don't even know if we're doing it differently or whether that changed. How are things working with beer sales or
Yep,
anything
so
like that?
we'll be running the beer tent from 12 to 5 p.m., which is the same time the carnival will be running on Sunday.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sam.
Public Works Director, Tom Jensen. Announcements.
It's hometown week.
Hey!
So the last weekend, this week, we've been busy all week working on hometown and getting that ready. Starting out with the toad race on Wednesday, so we have one more day to prep for the toad race and all the barricades and trucks that are going out for that. And then, as many people have noticed already, we have blocks and barricades at Nixon Park with the tent going up, bar sections, everything that you see down there is getting put together this week. So that's all we got.
Do you guys on DPW do a lot this week, or is this kind of a laid-back week because everybody's just focused on?
Yes, this is the sit back week. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, feet are up.
You're done.
So, thanks.
Thank you, Tom.
I do have a question though. If it rains on Wednesday, is there still a toad? Yes. There is. Rain or shine, huh? Okay.
Sweet.
Chief.
What time
Jammers.
does the street start?
Only bad weather they don't run. Lightning.
Lightning, yep.
That scares them like it should scare everybody. So we had a busy week last week. Thursday we had all of our fire hose tested. This happens every year per the NFPA standard. All of it has passed. That was 12,100 feet of hose that they tested in one day.
How do they test that, Chief?
What's that?
How do they test it?
Pressure tested. So they
one
run
end
a line off of our hydrant, and then they have electric pumps that they pump up the pressure to what they need. Then they just watch it for like 15 minutes. So, and then drain it all out and pack it all back on our trucks.
Cool.
Then also on Thursday and Friday was flow testing for our SCBAs and masks. We had 3 face pieces that failed because they had heat damage, so the glass had to be replaced on them as they were damaged. Otherwise, everything else passed on that, so SCBAs are good for another year. Process forming replacement is moving to the fire department Wednesday to meet the staff and answer some questions from my command staff. So,
Awesome. Thanks, Chief.
1 month, 18.
I was just
or
gonna
1 month,
say.
8 days, 18 hours.
He's got the timer on his phone. Chief Misko.
I'll keep it quick. Just one quick update. We did present a conditional offer to one of our candidates for the police officer position. Peter Oddie, who's a nearby resident, grew up in this area. He's currently going through the conditions of that offer. We're hopeful it'll be successful, and if so, he will start at the WCTC Police Academy on July 29th.
That's fantastic. Trustee Hallquist?
Nothing.
Trustee DeBoer?
Happy 250th to America.
Absolutely.
Really looking forward to enjoying hometown and all the hard work you guys have put into it. It's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. That's all I got.
I have a couple things, and I will try to make it fast. Obviously, as people have touched on, we have the Toad Race coming, which is the Dairyland, I don't know the exact title, but it's the Dairyland Race Circuit that comes around, and Tour of America's Dairyland, that comes around. Pretty cool. Quite a few people are excited about it. I think all the residents' concerns were taken care of with their parking and those kind of things. There was some issues with that, but it sounds like they've got that all taken care of. This past weekend, we had the dedication of Lamourand Park, which is the former Castle Park. Castle Park is up in Hartridge. It's just off, I mean, it's off of a couple streets, but that's just off of, is that Oxford, Tim? Yep. Just off of Oxford. It was pretty cool. I hope everybody will keep Dave Lamourand in his prayers. Dave Lamourand was the 26-year president of the village of Hartland, the longest serving. He is sick. He does seem somewhat weak. He seemed quite happy and a lot of smiles on Saturday, but I hope we can say a prayer for him that he just keeps on feeling better and getting better. Chief Misko recently, I think he sent it out to everybody, but sent through some speed study information. I guess I just want to let everybody in the village know. I know that there was a lot of talk on Lake Country 411, and certain people around the village are kind of talking about speed. We are studying it. We are looking into it. I'm saying these announcements because there was a lot of comments that were put out there on Lake Country 411. Everything from people saying 25 miles an hour is a residential speed, even 1 mile an hour over deserves a ticket. And I'm like, whew, people are gonna hate the police department if we start that, all the way to, hey, we should just have speed bumps everywhere where it's 25 miles an hour. I personally think that's a little bit of overkill. Our speed studies showed that there are some speeders. Some very few, but some very excessively. But for the most part, everything is within about 5 miles an hour of the posted speed limits for the majority. But I want the public to know that we're paying attention to that. Also, my children came over yesterday for Father's Day. They did not bring me a gift except for Andrew, who brought me some scratch-offs because he works at the gas station. But my gift arrived today, and my son Jeffrey dropped it at the house. And I got to take a look at my new Callaway driver, so if anybody knows how to use that thing, please come teach me. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. I do hope, going off of what Adam said, that everybody will celebrate America and celebrate Hartland. We have a wonderful village, and before I get done, usually I'll do this after, but I will say to everybody in the village, from Sandy, DPW, please pass this on, Tom, and Sam, please pass it on, and Ryan, please pass it on to the people upstairs. Thank you for everything you guys do. It would not happen without all of you. Police and fire, you guys are, everybody's grinding so many hours, and it is a wonderful thing for the village, but I can understand, now I understand, like, down in Milwaukee, like, I think the whole police department calls Summerfest Bummerfest, because they're like, man, we don't get to enjoy it. But it's a wonderful thing for the village, so just, I mean it, thank you so much from the whole board for everything you guys put into this, and I'll shut up now so we can just move on to the next step.
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
everybody.
shoot, nope, we aren't done. This year we have a new parade time. Please get that out on your Facebook pages so everybody, we're gonna have people showing up at 1:30, I can tell already. There's still people like, 11:30? I didn't know that, and I'm like, oh boy. Please get it out there. Even you departments, if you guys can get it out on your site and just hammer it, I really mean it. Any help we can get with getting that out there. And then the parade time, what time does the parade kick off at? Not stage. 11:30. 11:30 is when we step off for parade. So staging will basically be from probably 10 to 11. Please help get the word out, and please come and support the village, enjoy the carnival, have a blast, celebrate America, enjoy the fireworks and the bands and every other good time there is, including the parties on Capitol Drive and everywhere else. Okay. Anybody else have any announcements? All right. So now we may convene into closed session. Pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.8, we have two items here. I'm just going to read them both. 19.85, Section 1, subsection G, for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved with respect to two parcels located at 550 Hartbrook Drive in conjunction with current negotiations regarding procurement terms pursuant to an eminent domain proceeding previously authorized by the Village Board of Trustees. And within that same closed session, pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85, section 1, subsection E, for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session specifically related to property the village owns located at Maple Avenue and Hartridge Drive, tax key HAV 0727143004, also known as the piece of property that's right on Hartridge and Maple on the, whatever it is, southeast corner. It would take a roll call vote to go into closed session.
Make a motion, we move into a closed session.
Second.
It's been moved and second to go into closed session. May I have a roll call vote? Yes is to go into closed session. No is to not go into closed session.
Trustee DeBoer?
Yes.
Trutchell?
Yes.
Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Hallquist?
Yes.
President Vanderstill?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we will,
Yeah, closed session.
oh,
We're in closed.
No. It was. How did she get out of the house?
Tom, what race are you racing?
3, 2, 1. All right, we are back in open session. If we were to discuss anything from closed session, we would do it now. I do not believe that there is anything, but if the board wants to bring anything up from closed session that was discussed, they could. Otherwise, the appropriate measure would be to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting's adjourned.